If you're looking for a way to start building animated data stories from scratch, then you're watching the right channel. This is Krzysztof from Vizzu, and in this tutorial series I will guide you through the basics of ipyvizzu. In the first minute, let me talk about the basic logic of ipyvizzu. ipyvizzu uses a single method that we call the animate method. If you call it once, it will give you a static chart, which is the result of a single animation state. And if you call it again with your different configuration, it will animate your chart into a new state that you describe. So actually, when there are more states that you describe, ipyvizzu will automatically transition between those. It has three arcs or objects: the data, where you can add your data, what you want to visualize, the config, where you can add or remove series to the chart and set general settings like alignment, a title, etc. And the third one is the styling object to set your chart's look. And optionally, you can change the animation options, but I will talk about these more in depth in a later video. And now let's code. In this series, I'm using a Jupyter notebook to demonstrate our tool. Please note that depending on what kind of notebook or platform you are using, you may need different settings than mine. If this is the case, please visit the environments section of our documentation site at ipyvizzu.com. In this episode description, I will insert a link for you to easily find it. You probably noticed that my notebook has a different structure than usual. That's because I've been using a styling extension to override some parameters in the notebook's CSS file. Actually, I think this makes the tutorial easier to follow because we can see the complete code and the output side by side. If you're curious about these CSS changes, just let me know, for example, in the comment section, and I'm gonna show you the details. Okay, and now let's return to ipyvizzu. You can install ipyvizzu using pip or conda. In this example, we are working with a pandas data frame, so I'm going to import pandas, and I also import some components from ipyvizzu like the chart, data, and config. So next, I read the CSV file. And throughout the tutorial, we are using a simple data set made up by the Vizzu team that we call the music data, and it only contains two categorical series like music genres and music kinds, and we have one continuous variable with popularity values. Then we can create the data object and add the data frame to the data object. And at first we create an empty chart, and then we can build our first real chart. In ipyvizzu, the default geometry is rectangle. So by adding the music genres to the x-axis and the popularity measure to the y-axis, we can create a simple column chart like this. But as you can see right now, my chart doesn't seem so great in my setup. This is because the default size of the chart is bigger than my cell here. So I'm going back a little bit to the previous cell and setting the chart width to 100% and the height of it to, let's see, 360 pixels. And after that I run these cells again, and yeah, it looks much better, and now you can see that we have four columns showing the popularity values in each of the genres. In the next step, we call the animate method once again. I remove the genres dimension from the x-axis by setting it to none, and add it to the y-axis next to the popularity. And as you can see, this way we created a single column chart that shows the overall popularity value. And ipyvizzu automatically transitions between the two charts. I run these cells again to see it once more. And this is it, we have the first animation between two charts. Let's see you at the next episode where we'll check out some new parameters.